Well, welcome to the bright side. Happy Monday. There's so much to talk about. Health has been in the news a lot, specifically in the frame of a virus called Ebola. It's all over the front pages, CNN.com, Fox.com, FoxNews.com. It's the lead story pretty much on any news source that you happen to like. MSNBC, whatever, you're going to see Ebola this and Ebola that. We've been talking about prostaglandins for a few weeks now. In our last program, we talked about zinc. And both zinc and prostaglandins have a link to how the body responds to immune system assaults, including viruses and including Ebola. Last week, we talked a little bit about Ebola. And as we predicted, we're starting to hear more and more silliness and more fear-mongering. And I sometimes wonder if there's not going to be some drugs coming out, some antiviral drugs, $1,000 a dose antiviral drugs. Have you seen how expensive these new antiviral drugs are? $1,000 a pill. I'm not kidding you. Sovaldi, $1,100 a pill. Now, you guys have any idea how much drugs cost to manufacture and to make? Not even pennies a dose, fractions of pennies a dose. Now, what is the profit margin from a fraction of a penny to $1,125? There is no consumer product on the planet that has that kind of profit, intense profit margin, fractions of a cent to $1,125. How do these pharmaceutical companies live with themselves? How do these CEOs and these upper management people who are profiting on people's diseases and people's sicknesses to this unconscionable degree, how do they live with themselves? How do these people look at themselves in the mirror? First case of an American contracting Ebola in the United States was confirmed yesterday, I think, or maybe Saturday. A healthcare worker in Texas who had extensive contact with a guy named Eric Duncan, who was the Liberian man who died from the virus last Wednesday. This healthcare worker apparently contracted Ebola by contacting this gentleman. Now you got all these experimental drugs and experimental vaccines. Drug companies hoping to cash in. We don't need big government. We don't need big pharma. We don't need drug companies. We don't need intervention. We don't need Obamacare. We don't need any kind of medical intervention to protect us from viruses or Ebola. For the record, as dramatic as the symptoms of Ebola are, it is a very weak virus. And you have to have direct contact with bodily secretions. So no fear-mongering, all right? Don't buy into that. It's a weak virus. It requires direct contact via bodily secretions, and its incidence, the incidence of Ebola, is not a cause to freak out. It is a cause, however, in my opinion, to understand how to boost our immune system, how to protect and strengthen and leverage this miraculous defense system we call the immune system, this defense department that we all have, that all human beings and all complex organisms have been bequeathed with from divinity, from our divine maker, from a divine source. I'm talking about the immune system, which has been shaped over the course of millions and millions and millions of years to be antiviral and antibacterial and antipathogen. Viruses like Ebola or the flu virus or herpes or shingles or chickenpox or measles or hepatitis C are really no match for this amazing defense system, the immune system. But if our immunity is suppressed, if our immunity is compromised by lifestyle issues, nutritional deficiencies, psychological burdens, mental burdens, emotional burdens, these are all loads on the immune system. And by the way, sugar is one of the most powerful immune suppressant loads. How much sugar are we eating? There wasn't a lot of sugar when the immune system was being developed thousands of years ago. There was hardly any sugar. This enormous intake of sugar represents one of the most major, egregious, unnecessary burdens on the immune system, right up there with drugs and right up there with toxicity. And it just makes sense that our immune system isn't going to be able to do its work if it's being burdened and it's being loaded. The immune system simply needs nutrients. We don't need drugs. We need nutrition. We don't need drugs. We need lifestyle choices. Don't let anybody convince you that you need drugs, people. Aside from the occasional antibiotic and occasional pain pill, which I'm a big believer in. All medicine cabinets need to have some pain pills in them. And antibiotics certainly have saved many, many lives. But the idea that we need to be on prescription drugs or we need to interface with this pharmaco-medical model that could care less about humanity it's a lie, and it's not fair. It's just not right. The immune system needs nutrition. It needs the mighty 90. It needs zinc. We've been talking a lot about zinc. We'll be talking about zinc here in a little bit. Selenium is important for the immune system, and nothing in the world of nutrition is more important than vitamin C. And by the way, while we're on the subject of misinformation and bad information, for some reason, I don't know what's going on here the last couple of months, there seems to be a lot of craziness, nonsense being spewed out about vitamin C. I get probably one email a day or every couple of days from somebody who wants me to explain this idea. Is vitamin C really bad for me? Is ascorbic acid really vitamin C? Is there toxicity associated with vitamin C? For the record, vitamin C has zero toxicity. And also for the record, vitamin C is ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C. For some reason, there's folks who believe that because vitamin C, like all vitamins and like all minerals and like all nutrients, because vitamin C doesn't exist in nature as an individual isolated component. Nothing in nature is isolated. Nothing in nature is individual. Everything in nature is connected to everything else in nature. All of nature is a unified whole. So yes, it's true. Ascorbic acid does not exist in nature by itself. But that doesn't mean that ascorbic acid and ascorbic acid supplementation is not somehow helpful. And it doesn't mean that ascorbic acid is not vitamin C. In nature, ascorbic acid does not exist by itself. This is true. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get vitamin benefits from using ascorbic acid. Hang tight. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our number on the bright side. We'll be back after this. All right. 855-660-4261 is our number. If any bonehead tells you vitamin C is not ascorbic acid, here's what you need to tell them. First of all, just go to scholar.google.com and you will find zillions, okay, maybe not zillions, but you'll find hundreds, maybe thousands of different articles on the benefits of ascorbic acid. I'm talking articles and studies and experiments and research, not on lemons, not on oranges, not on whole foods. As important and as nutrient-packed as these whole foods are, and I'm not saying that vitamins and supplemental vitamins are the same as whole foods. They're not. Whole foods are always the way to go. But that's not to say that you can't get benefits from plain old ascorbic acid. Just go to scholar.google.com and you'll see tons of research on all the various benefits, all the various ways that plain old ascorbic acid can benefit your health. And secondly, one of the most important criteria, if not the most important criteria, for determining whether a particular substance is a vitamin is whether that substance cures a deficiency disease. The deficiency disease, for example, that's called pellagra, which is marked by the 4 Ds, diarrhea, dermatitis, dementia, and death. Pellagra causes mental problems, digestive problems, skin problems. Ultimately, it'll kill you. Pellagra is cured by niacin, vitamin B3. The deficiency disease called rickets, which is a softening of the bone, is cured by vitamin D. The deficiency disease called beriberi, which means I can't. It's a neurological disease where you can't move, basically. It's cured by vitamin B1 or thiamine. And likewise, the deficiency disease that's linked to vitamin C is called scurvy, which is a hideous disease that's marked by an inability to manufacture the most abundant substance in the body, next to water, the most abundant solid substance or dry substance in the body, and that's collagen. No vitamin C, no collagen, the body dissolves, and death ensues in the most terrible and hideous fashion. Well, guess what? If you put ascorbic acid into the body of somebody who has scurvy, not lemons, not oranges, not bell peppers, not food vitamin C, not kiwis, not cantaloupes, all which contain real natural vitamin C, food vitamin C, just plain old ascorbic acid. If you put ascorbic acid, plain old ascorbic acid, into the body of somebody who has scurvy, guess what? The scurvy goes away. That's why they call it ascorbic acid. Ascorbic is Latin for without scurvy. Ascorbic, without scurvy. Ascorbic acid is an acid that eliminates scurvy, and that, my friends, makes ascorbic acid a vitamin. Vitamin C. Now, I'm not saying that you don't want plant and food vitamin C, which is complex with other factors, bioflavonoids, and other materials that support the activity of ascorbic acid. Plants and whole food vitamin C is absolutely going to be superior to anything else. I'm not saying that you don't want plant and whole food vitamin C. Plant and whole foods are always superior to isolated nutrients, which in nature don't exist. Nature always has things complex with each other, but for healthcare professionals, chiropractors, naturopaths, supposed nutritionists who should know better, to be out there adding confusion to an already confusing subject is just not right. It's unfair at best. It's mean-spirited at worst. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C by definition. There's another really cool immune-boosting, antiviral, non-toxic, nutritional type substance that you can use if you're interested in antiviral protection and protecting yourself from hepatitis or Ebola or any other virus, and you don't want to interface with the medical model. It's called a polysaccharide. Poly means many, saccharide means sugar. We've talked about these things so much on this program because they're stupendously valuable when it comes to nutritional support. They're not part of the mighty 90 essential nutrients, polysaccharides. They come from foods. You don't necessarily need to supplement with them. Polysaccharides are long chains of sugar molecules, but supplementing with polysaccharides can be very beneficial. These polysaccharides are very, very important for stimulating, strengthening the immune system, and luckily they're found throughout nature, throughout the plant kingdom. Throughout the history of humanity, plants represented the most likely source of foods. Most of the foods we ate were plants throughout our history. We would occasionally support or add in meats and fish, and dairy for that matter, and eggs to our plants, but most of our calories throughout history, for millennia anyway, came from plants. And interestingly, most of our interface with poisons came from plants. There was this whenever we ate, we were always risking interacting with poisons because plants make poisons. You ever notice how there's no poison meats really? And there's no poison animal foods? Most of the poisons that we interface with are plants. Yet, at the same time, most of the calories that we ingested came from plants. So it made sense that the body would respond to these ubiquitous plant chemicals that were toxic by upregulating immunity. And it turns out that eating plant materials can upregulate or stimulate immunity. Fucoidan is not really a plant. We've talked about fucoidan a lot. Fucoidan comes from algae and sea plants, if you will. And fucoidan is one of the most important of all these immune-boosting molecules. Fucoidan Z can be thought of as a natural, non-toxic, antiviral, and anti-Ebola supplement. And there's lots of polysaccharides, lots of these complex sugars that have immune-boosting properties, similar to fucoidan. Mushrooms, in particular, are loaded with these kinds of antiviral polysaccharides. Aloe, noni, algae, as I say, spirulina, herbs, vegetables, fruits. These are all important sources of these immune-boosting antiviral polysaccharides. Eggshell membrane, by the way, contains some of these antiviral polysaccharides. For you guys who are part of the Youngevity family, you're going to be excited to know that Youngevity has recently acquired a company that specializes in a very important polysaccharide with antiviral properties. Hang tight, and I'll tell you what I mean. And we'll take your phone calls as well, 855-660-4261 when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Cosmo in New Jersey. What's going on? Welcome to The Bright Side.
Hey, Brother Ben. How are you?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
Fantastic, fantastic. One of your most devout disciples here, Coach Cosmo. Hope you've been checking out a couple of my videos. Everything I do is based on what you and Doc Wallach are putting out there, and I'm just so thankful. My team is thankful. We love you guys.
Oh, I appreciate that, and I have been checking out your videos. And by the way, they're on YouTube, right?
That's right.
I assume they're YouTube. Yeah, why don't you give yourself a plug? Tell the folks how they can get into it. How they can
get great. Well, you can find me on YouTube, Coach Cosmo, Cosmo. And my website, you can also find information about what I'm doing with Ben and Doc Wallach at www.coachcosmocares.com.
Plus, you get to see a picture of your smiley face. Don't forget that. See what you look like. I love it. Thanks, Cosmo.
Thanks.
What's going on today? How can we help?
So I got a couple of team members who are looking to get to the Olean, New York event that you've been talking about. Yeah. In fact, I might even make the drive out there since.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's next. When is that? Next Tuesday. I'm going to be flying out there. Is it next Tuesday? Hang on a sec. Yeah, next Tuesday. That's the 21st. I'll be 7 p.m. Do you need information? I should probably start plugging.
Do you have more details? I
don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. But after our next break, I'll give you the address and all the information.
Fantastic. That would be awesome. And just one other question. And the Biometics, you talked about Restart Your Life, and I'm glad to hear you mention that because I was kind of curious as to what that whole line that Youngevity brought in will do. So beta-glucans. Yeah, it's a beta-glucan line, and I talked to the owner at the Leadership Summit a couple weeks ago. The lady who started it with her husband, Joyce Cordell. They got some great stories. I'm going to try and get her on the air. But they were smart enough to understand how powerful beta-glucan was, and they started a network marketing company built on it. And Youngevity, who always on the lookout. Youngevity's always on the lookout for good companies. They recently, I think a couple months ago, they actually acquired it and they announced it at the meeting. And it is a great company. It's a great product. I'll be talking about it tomorrow. Okay. And is there anything that you can offer about Biometics? That's one of the Youngevity companies that I recently kind of started looking at their products. Or anything that you would recommend from their line?
You know, I went to a meeting, I think it was probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and the guy who started the Biometics, it's a liquid vitamin company, liquid multivitamins, and liquid multivitamins are always the way you want it. Liquid nutrients are always the way you want to get your nutrition, as you know, we always talk about that. But they have a special kind of technology where they crush the molecules up, and they especially crush the fat-soluble molecules up. They call it micellization, and they kind of blend it together with other ingredients that make it easier for the body to absorb the fat-soluble nutrients. But I haven't talked about it. You know, I think maybe I will do a little bit more digging into that, and I'll address it as well. The BTT is so fundamental, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, that I sometimes forget to talk about some of the other incredible products and ingredients, actually, and nutritional ingredients that Youngevity can promote. Youngevity promotes. So I think I will. I'll take that under advisement, Cosmo. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many to talk about.
There are so many to talk about, yes.
And one more thing. The vitamin E. Has Youngevity done anything with a good vitamin E supplement?
Not yet. Not yet. It's on the list, though. It's on the list along with a couple other things, zinc and a few other things. So keep listening.
Okay. Will do, buddy.
Man. Thank you so much, Cosmo. God bless, buddy. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for the kind words, too. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. Let's go to Cliff in Ottawa. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, sir. It's a privilege to talk to you. I listen to your show all the time.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
With my girlfriend, too.
Nice.
We really love your show. The reason I'm calling, actually, is about my girlfriend. My girlfriend was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Okay.
Like this is years ago. And they have her on a medication called clozaril.
Okay, I know what that is.
It is, yeah, and she has to have her blood tested.
Yeah, because it's so nasty.
It makes me nervous.
Yeah,
but yet, you know,
it helps her. It helps stabilize her mood and stabilizes her symptoms, right?
Exactly, and so this is the big dilemma. So, I thought I would ask you. Yeah. What I can do, you know.
Well, you're smart. I mean, that is, like you say, it's a dilemma. It stabilizes her and it makes her more lucid, but then you're dealing with all kinds of toxicity, including immune system problems. That's why they have to have her, her blood checked every, 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Also, the thing is that she can even work, you know, part-time. She's got a job, everything.
That's awesome. What kind of... What's her specific diagnosis?
I don't know exactly what brand. I guess that's almost like the word, because they have so many
flavors.
Yeah, labels, and really, you know, she has some issues with. I know that when she has an episode, she loses, she doesn't even remember anything that happened in the episode pretty well.
All right, well, let's address schizophrenia real quickly, okay? Here's the most important thing to know about schizophrenia. As with all health challenges, nobody just has one health challenge. Nobody just has schizophrenia. There's other things going on. The most likely other thing that's going on involves digestion. Get a book called The GAPS Diet, first of all, and that's GAP stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome, which refers to all of the connections between digestive health and mental health. And there's a very, very important link between the digestive system and schizophrenia and autism. It's all talked about in this book, The GAPS Diet. Hang tight. We'll finish up when we come back. So don't go away, Cliff. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you when we come back from our break. All right, we are back on the bright side. I was hoping to be able to tell you when I'm going to be in Olean, New York. It is, here it is. Olean, New York on the 21st of October. That's next Tuesday, and that will be for my friend Jonathan Smith. The address is... where the heck is he at? Okay, here it is. Century Manor Grill House, 401 East State Street, Olean, New York, zip code 14760. Century Manor Grill House, 401 East State Street, Olean, New York, 14760, 7 p.m. Tuesday, October the 21st. Hope that helps. Thanks for suggesting that, Cosmo. I appreciate it, and hope to see you out there if you're in the neighborhood. All right, we're talking to Cliff in Ottawa about schizophrenia. Cliff, get the book called The GAPS Gut and Psychology Syndrome by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. and that has a lot of good information about autism and schizophrenia and other psychological disorders as they relate to digestive issues. If you listen to this program, you know that it all comes down to the gut. Yes, blood sugar is involved, and oxygen and the thyroid and the adrenal glands and hormones all play a role in good health, but at the foundation of all health and lack thereof, you will find gut digestive health issues. Correct digestive problems, job number one. Cliff, by the way, is your girlfriend a cigarette smoker?
She used to be up until about a year ago, and now she's quit.
Well, you know, interestingly, there's a very important relationship between cigarette smoke and schizophrenia. Many schizophrenics, a much higher rate of schizophrenic smoke than in the general population, and some folks, some researchers believe that's because of the nicotine, which is similar to vitamin B3 or niacin. At the beginning of the program, we talked about mental health issues that are associated with a niacin deficiency, so using the B vitamins, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and especially vitamin B3 niacin can also be helpful in addition to correcting digestive health issues. Using probiotics, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, eliminating problem foods, using fermented foods. These are all great strategies for dealing with schizophrenia. Vitamin E, which is very important for brain health, and coenzyme Q10 is also important for brain health, and omega fatty acids are also important for brain health. Those can be helpful. That means the Healthy Start Pack. You might want to throw in about 400 international units of vitamin E a day, and then zinc, which we've been talking about a lot, and we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow and for a couple of days. That also is important for mental health issues, for brain health issues, and 50 milligrams of zinc is something that I would definitely be using if I was dealing with schizophrenia or knew somebody who's dealing with schizophrenia. Zinc picolinate is the best form of zinc. So digestive health issues, the B complex, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, vitamin E, the ultimate essential fatty acids, throw in some zinc, and see if you can notice a connection between specific foods and schizophrenic symptoms. Now, she's on medication. She'll probably have those symptoms masked a little bit, but if you want to wean yourself off the medications, talk to your doctor about that, and then start using nutritional strategies, that might be something to think about. All right, lots you could do. And also, last but most certainly not least, the ketogenic diet, which is a low sugar, high protein, high fat diet, or moderate protein, high fat diet. That might be helpful. And coconut oil's got some specific benefits for brain health and brain health issues. That helpful, Cliff?
Yes, sir. I really appreciate it.
God bless, man. Take care. Have a beautiful day in Ottawa, Canada. Okay, Arjan, I think you say? Arjan in New York?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, Arjan, or Irjan? How do you say your name?
Hi. Just like the way you say it. It's the correct way, Arjan.
Arjan. Okay, good. How's it going, man?
Just well. And I've been listening to your show for several years, and I'm learning a lot from you.
Oh, nice, nice. What's going on today? How can I help you?
Question is about the vitamin C, and I've been searching about the vitamin C, and used to take vitamin C, did not see any benefits from it. I'm a total vegan for the last 12 to 13 years.
Okay.
And I don't really take any supplements except maybe krill oil.
Okay.
About the vitamin C, I don't want to, sidetrack it too much. I searched, and I am not so sure if it is right or wrong, that the way it's being made is not so great, and that's why I began not to take it either. Like, it's being derived from the corn.
Yeah, it comes. That's the main source of vitamin C, of supplemental vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, is corn. That's correct, and it is processed out of the corn. It actually comes from sugar. The vitamin C molecule is actually very similar to the glucose molecule, at least from an organic chemistry standpoint. And anything that has a lot of sugar in it, and corn is loaded with sugar, is going to be a potential source of synthetic or a supplemental ascorbic acid. That's not to say it's not a good thing. Yes, it is synthetic and it is it's manufactured, but the fact remains that if you use ascorbic acid and you have a vitamin C deficiency, like scurvy, you can cure that scurvy with that synthetic vitamin C, with that synthesized vitamin C. Now, keep in mind, this is very important, Arjan, and everybody listening. You don't have to have full-blown scurvy. You could have subclinical scurvy to benefit from ascorbic acid. If ascorbic acid supplementation will cure scurvy, it sure as heck is going to cure subclinical scurvy. Well, what's subclinical scurvy? It is problems with your circulatory system, perhaps potential strokes, problems with your gums, problems with your bones, problems building things, because collagen is a building protein, and without ascorbic acid, you can't make collagen. So we may not be suffering from full-blown scurvy where we're going to drop dead because we're hemorrhaging to death, but we may have a minor form of scurvy, what we say subclinical. It's not bad enough to force us to go to the doctor or force us to become hospitalized, but it's bad enough where it's leading to degenerative disease. Degenerative disease, by definition, almost by definition anyway, is disease that is caused by the body not building properly, and the main building protein is collagen. So almost by definition, not quite, but almost by definition, degenerative disease is scurvy, is a subclinical type of scurvy. It's a degenerative type of issue, and it's so tragic to avoid using ascorbic acid if we know that using ascorbic acid can reverse or heal scurvy. Do you understand what I'm saying? You may not have full-blown scurvy.
I acknowledge what you're saying.
Okay, you may have minor scurvy. Not you. I'm not talking about you, Arjan, but somebody's got osteoporosis. That could be a minor form of scurvy because the bone is largely composed of collagen. And you can take all the calcium you want, and you can take all the magnesium, all the minerals you want, but if you don't have enough ascorbic acid or vitamin C, your bones aren't going to be strong. And if you could take 100, 200, 500, 1,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid in a powder form, why would we not do it? What's the downside? What's the downside?
The other things that when I search about the vitamin C, the way it was made, it seems like it's being made mostly in China, and one or two companies are making it. And it goes into hydrogenation, fermentation,
no, it's not. The first half of what you said was right. Yes, it's made in third world countries, like a lot of vitamins are, because they don't have the same rules and regulations, and they can manufacture them cheaper. A lot of the companies that make these vitamins, because of the heavy investment that's involved in the infrastructure and the factories and the machinery, etc., a lot of them are big multinational companies, and some of them are pharmaceutical companies. All of that is true. And I've said many times on this program and in my presentations, I hate the fact that we have created a planet where supplementation is necessary, but it is, and it does no good. It does no good to hand wring about it and to whine about it and to mope about it. The fact of the matter is, the stuff is not in the plants, or it's not in the soils. The minerals aren't in the soil, and this is another huge problem that nobody's talking about except for Dr. Wallach. The soils are corrupted. There's no topsoil. There's no silt. That means the minerals, the organisms are not in the soil. The minerals aren't in the soil. The plants don't have the vitamins. You can't get what you need from food. It's just not. It's not possible to get the kind of quantities and nutrient density that you need to reverse degenerative disease from food alone. I wish that wasn't the case. It is. So to not use ascorbic acid because it's made by the devil, if you will. It's made in the devil's workshop. It seems unfortunate to me, and that's just my opinion. If you don't want to stay away from ascorbic acid, God love you. God bless you. You know, Jesus loves us all.
Would you like to know what I just had for in the third day row?
Yes, I would.
16 ounces of pure onion juice raw.
I love it. I love it. Don't kiss your girlfriend or anything. You know, I used to do onion juice. I used to do onion juice and garlic juice myself, and I love it. But no, friends don't like it so much. I noticed.
I know, but you know what happens? That your pH goes to 6.5 to 7.
From the onion juice.
For a long time.
That's awesome. And you know what else? If you use some chlorophyll drops, that has a wonderful deactivating effect on the odor from onion and garlic. Just plain chlorophyll drops. There you go. Oh, no. All right, Arjan, thank you so much for bringing that up. I appreciate it. All right, Jim in Virginia, what's going on? Got about a minute, unless you want to call back. Jim?
Jim, I'm here. Have you ever heard of Lomatia root? That's Lomatia.
Yes, I have. It's a wonderful immune boosting, I guess, herb, you would say. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I guess you're familiar with it. With Ebola around, you just wonder if that might be useful.
Absolutely it is. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the program. I'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. Herbs and plant material are loaded with wonderful, wonderful nutritional compounds, not the least of which are these polysaccharides, such as beta-glucan, which we'll cover tomorrow. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Jim, Lomatium root, Lomatium. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. If you're in the Denver area, I would love to see you at the We Are Change Colorado conference, or We Are Change Colorado meeting this at 7 p.m. tonight on Colfax Avenue in Lakewood. I'm trying to find, before we get off here, I'm trying to find the address, but I can't find it. So just Google We Are Change Colorado, 7 p.m. today in Lakewood. Thanks for listening, folks. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.